Hey ho out there, YouTubers. This is the second day of April 2024. Man, are we messed up. Man, this planet is absolutely... So, we're here to discuss a little bit about what's going on, as usual. And man, when I say a little bit, I mean a little bit. The devil is absolutely just running away with this planet Earth, for sure. Christians are absolutely under attack like never before. These invaders are invading just as strong as ever before. You know, Abbott down in Texas is doing whatever he's doing or whatever, but you know, it doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, well, let's stop it right here, but then let's leave all this open over here. Arizona, California, the rest of it or whatever, what are they doing? You know, they're still coming in. And even up by Canada way, you know, there's not a whole lot of people talking about that, but you know, go up to Canada or whatever, you can come in just as easy. They arrested what was it, 200 people that rushed the border, which is insane to even say border. There is none, but they supposedly put them in custody, and then the black robe wearing government turned them loose very next day. We're all being done a certain way that we know what's going on. And if you don't know what's going on, I'm about to show you something that if you haven't seen it, you better listen up. And you better listen to every word, and then you better match it up to what's going on right now in this country that we have, you know, while we have it. But I want you to listen to this right here, and I'll do my best not to pause it and stuff because I am so infuriated. I mean, this is absolutely just got my blood boiling on this. It's already been boiling for a while or whatever, and I knew about this, but I had decided, I said, you know what, I'm just going to get on the channel and I'm going to show all of the YouTubers out there, my subscribers to this channel, and I'm going to show them, because if you guys haven't seen this, listen to it carefully, and then look at what's going on right now. I mean, it is verbatim, exact, right on it. This guy here is interviewing the guy from the Soviet Union, or Russia. And so just listen. You talk about, we're going to play. You ready? Let's go. Let's do it.
Mr. Bezmenov was born in 1939 in a suburb of Moscow. He was the son of a high-ranking Soviet Army officer. He was educated in the elite schools inside the Soviet Union and became an expert in Indian culture and Indian languages. He had an outstanding career with Novosti, which was and still is, I should say, the press arm or the press agency of the Soviet Union. It turns out that this is also a front for the KGB. He escaped to the West in 1970 after becoming totally disgusted with the Soviet system, and he did this at great risk to his life. He certainly is one of the world's outstanding experts on the subject of Soviet propaganda and disinformation and active measures. Well, you spoke several times before about ideological subversion. That is a phrase that I'm afraid some Americans don't fully understand. When the Soviets use the phrase ideological subversion, what do they mean by it?
Okay, now I am going to pause right here because when somebody's being introduced and everything like that, I get it. I know it's kind of boring. It's like, yeah, we don't care. What do you have to say? But here's where you definitely want to be paying attention. Listen to what this man says. This is a highly, highly educated, informed individual that defected from the Soviet Union and now came over to America. And he, back in 1984, when this was filmed, was trying his best to warn us and to let us know what was going on. And if you listen carefully, he says, even at that time, that it was already in motion. So here we go.
Ideological subversion is the slow process which we call either ideological subversion or active measures, активные мероприятия in the language of the KGB, or psychological warfare. What it basically means is to change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country. It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation. Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students.
Marxist-Lenin being pumped into the soft heads, meaning the young and impressionable.
Without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism.
Patriotism. Okay, so without even being challenged, because see, since they're in the schools and they're teaching this Marxism to these young, impressionable, soft-headed people who's learning, nobody's going to challenge them because, as far as we know, they're just in school and they're just learning whatever they're learning, right? So nobody thinks, hey, we better go check. But you know what? We know it now. Is it too late? Shouldn't we have somebody like watching over the schools and stuff and saying, wait a minute, hold on. What exactly are you teaching in there? Well, now we know. Is it too late?
The demoralization process in the United States is basically completed already. For the last...
Hear that? It back then, 84, it's basically already done already.
25 years. Actually, it's overfulfilled because demoralization now reaches such areas where
demoralization.
Previously, not even Comrade Andropov and all his experts would even dream of such a tremendous success. Most of it is done by Americans to Americans, thanks to lack of moral standards.
Hear that? Done to Americans by Americans.
As I mentioned before, exposure to true information does not matter anymore.
True information don't make any difference. How all of us is saying that it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make... Here you go.
A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures.
You know, like what happened with the choosing process that was done in 2020, you know, something like that.
Even if I take him by force to the Soviet Union and show him concentration camp, he will refuse to believe it.
So even if we lay out for you or whoever they are, other Americans we're talking about here, right? Like the government, you know, look at them. We're like, what is Adam Schiff and what are they doing here? You know, what is, you know, it doesn't make any sense. Like opening up and welcome them and all these invaders and stuff, telling them, say, come on. When we, the people, the Americans, is like, no, but yet it's still happening. This is exactly what he's talking about here. This is exactly what he's saying. He's saying that even whenever you see something wrong, you can't do nothing about it. Because they've already put the wheels and stuff in motion here.
Until he is going to receive a kick in his fat bottom. When a military boot crashes his balls, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization.
See, there's the tragic of demoralization, is because once it's done, it's done. And you know what I mean? It's like you can take care of your puppy dog while it's living and breathing, you know, but if you don't water it and nurture it and take care of it and love it and make sure it's sheltered and, you know, what happens? You know, it starves to death, or, you know, somebody else comes along that don't happen to like your puppy dog or something, and they do something to it, you know, poison it with our food or its food. Once it's gone, it's gone. You don't get it back. Freedom. That's exactly what we're talking about here. We're talking about freedom. This country, they ain't giving it back. If they get it, they're not giving it back. And I'm telling you, how tight do you think that they have their grips on this country? Way stronger of a grip than what I even know. And that's what scares the mortal piss out of me, you know?
The next stage is destabilization. This time, subverter does not
So, destabilization.
care about your ideas and the patterns of your consumption. Whether you eat junk food and get fat and flabby, it doesn't matter anymore. This time, and it takes only from 2 to 5 years to destabilize a nation, what matters is essentials: economy, foreign relations, defense systems.
You know, Ukraine, such things like that, you know, doesn't make any difference.
And you can see it quite clearly that in some areas, in such sensitive areas as defense and economy, the influence of Marxist-Leninist ideas in the United States is absolutely fantastic. I could never...
Okay, look, you got to have a strong military. You got to have a strong military. And have you even seen that General Milley guy and the one idiot on there that, I mean, these people are mentally disturbed, and we've got them in government. You know, like old, what's his name? Old Buttigieg, you know, that supposed to be, what is he, national security or whatever he's supposed to do or whatever. But clearly, all he wants to do is go with his man lover and do absolutely nothing. He doesn't have 2 brain cells to rub together at the bottom of his foot, you know?
I believe it 14 years ago when I landed in this part of the world that the process will go that fast.
You hear what he said? When he landed here 14 years ago, he never thought that the process would be going as fast as what it has here.
Next stage, of course, is crisis. It may take only
Crisis.
6 weeks to bring a country to the...
something that goes after 18 but before the 20, you know, the vid.
Verge of crisis. You can see it in Central
Look what happened with the vid, boy. They, you know, he who gives a little sovereignty for freedom has neither. Well, this is exactly what he's saying right here. You know, the crisis. What was the major crisis? Well, we had the vid thing. Then there was 2020 thing. Then you had, well, I mean, just take. There's a long list here, isn't there? There's the Ukraine thing.
America now. And after crisis, with a violent change of power, structure, and economy, you have so-called the period of normalization. It may last indefinitely. Normalization is a cynical expression borrowed from Soviet propaganda. When the Soviet tanks moved into Czechoslovakia in '68, Comrade Brezhnev said, "Now the situation in brotherly Czechoslovakia is normalized." This is what will happen in the United States if you allow all these schmucks to bring the country to crisis, to promise people all kind of goodies and the paradise of...
You know, you'll own nothing and be happy. You know, there's people that's actually thinking, oh, you mean we won't have to do anything and we'll just get a check? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? If you're not important to somebody in a leftist world like that they're trying to achieve. If you're not serving them in some way, some manner, some way, if you're not important, you're gone. And let's say that even if you are important, let's say that you're an important figure in their leftist dumb world. What you will have is absolutely no right. So as long as you're the dancing monkey, and you're full of all yeses for what they want you to say yes to, you might live, you might have the ability to breathe, but you really won't be living at all, will you? And this is what's coming. They want to talk about Christians and stuff like that, but how bad are Christians? Let me tell you something. There's absolutely nothing at all bad about Christians unless you're evil. And if you're evil, you don't have a soul. And if you don't have a soul, you're going to hell. And it's exactly where you belong. We Christians believe that you leave each other alone and let them be, as long as they're not affecting somebody else's life or something. But I got to tell you, they are affecting our lives right now. So if you're a Christian out there, you need to recognize that you need to do something, and you better be doing something, because just lay back and think, let the other people that's in politics do something. I don't want to do anything. I don't know what to do. Well, let me tell you something. Just stay underneath the porch, little puppy dog, because you're going to watch what happens, because they will come and they will destroy the very porch that you're under just to eradicate anybody. So just think that this ain't my problem. This is somebody else's problem, and see how far that you go. We got the eclipse coming up the 8th of this month, and there's no coincidence whatsoever that the first path that it took, it went over certain named cities and stuff. And this time, whenever it comes across, it's going over 7 places, I think, called Nineveh. And it was, what year was that? With the first solar eclipse went over, there were so many cities that actually meant peace. And then, help me, Noam, what is it?
I think it was 2017, I believe.
What is it? Oh, 17?
Yes, 2017.
Okay, so the year 2017, the first eclipse come across the United States. I don't remember exactly which way, but then this time it comes across and it makes a perfect cross. And right where the center of that cross is, what's the name of the town? Resurrection, Indiana? Yeah, Resurrection, Indiana, right? Rapture, Indiana. Right in the center of where these two eclipse paths go, right in the very center of that. And in their path, there's 7 cities that you can count in the United States. There was 7 the first time, and then there's 7 this time. And it's just, tell me that being right in the center of that cross, being called Rapture, Indiana? No. Not no coincidence. No way. So they're saying that the path and the way that it lines up is telling us that we have like 40 days, from after the eclipse. But now I have a lot of questions and stuff still that I'm trying to work on, because in the Bible, days can be years. So if you look at the path that this eclipse takes and stuff, if in fact that it's saying, Jonah, I think it's talking about Jonah, isn't it? That anyway, something about 40 days. Well, if it's 40 days, then that's 40 years. But either way, 40 days, 40 years, better get lined up with the Lord for sure. But this is mind blowing because everything that he said, this was filmed in 1984. He's saying was already taking place to the extent he couldn't even believe. And but we'll go ahead and finish this out because everything this guy says is spot on. What's going on?
Earth to destabilize your economy, to eliminate the principle of free market competition, and
Okay, destabilize everything, and the free market competition and stuff like that. Okay, look what they're trying to do to Trump right now. See, there is no free market if they're going to turn everything over to Mark Zuckerberg and all these other wealthy individuals out there, and all these turncoats and stuff like that that's not standing up or putting in all the money and stuff that they've hoarded up and everything. Instead of investing in the United States and actually putting out jobs and stuff. No, we're all going to sit back and fall into this technology and stuff like that. And it's like, well, everything's just computerized now. I think we'll just let the computer world have everything. Nope. Because I guarantee you, I can throw that phone away. I can throw this TV away and anything electronic, and I can still not just survive, but I'll thrive. It's just crazy that we've allowed them to have this much influence, And when you buy a phone or something, when a cell phone come out, everybody said, wow, that's a great thing because now you don't have to chase down a phone like if it's raining or if you're worried about your kid or something, you'll be able to call them and say, hey, are you okay? Or if they needed something, vice versa. But when something starts out good, anytime that the government, because the government is nothing but the beast. That's the way I see it. That's the way I've always seen it. And I know the Bible says 666 and so on and so forth. And it talks about a man that'll be a great leader and a great deceiver and stuff. I understand that. But I'm telling you, for me, I see the government as the beast. And the Bible says that it'll be an individual, so absolutely it will be an individual. But But for me, I see the government as the beast already, because it's all ran around numbers, and you have all of these turncoat, traitor, treasonous, godless people who they're spending millions of dollars to get these government jobs. And we know plainly that they're doing it just to enrich themselves. They don't care about the little puny salaries that we're giving them or whatever, that's standard. They don't care about that. What they care about is the power that comes in there. And think about, what is the power that they have? The power that they have is you and I. So why are we giving them that? You know what power we have? Call your representative right now. Call them up and tell them enough. Fire them. Tell them, say, we want to know what's going on. We want to know now. We want to know if you're truly on our side or where you stand at. And if they're not, which clearly they're not, they're fired. Hey, call me. I'll jump in there and I'll do whatever y'all want done until after we get somebody elected or something like that. Won't take a dime, not one penny. And you know what? That's what we need out there. I've seen people, and I've actually asked them to run. I've talked to some of yous out there that's on this channel, but I've ran into people. Some of them were, they'd say, well, I'm just a hairdresser, but it was brilliant. You could tell they had a heart of gold. I ran into people that, was bagging groceries, Kroger's, different places like that. And everybody that should be running for office always says the same thing. Oh, no, I don't want to do that, man. That's too much trouble. I don't want to do that. But they make so much sense. That's who we want in there. Somebody that truly doesn't want to be in there, but understands that they're needed. And we get them to go in for a couple of terms at the most. Make a term 3 years. because 2 terms would be 6 years. And I mean, but these career politicians, and politician is not a good word in anybody that I know's vocabulary. So let's see if we can finish this out.
To put a big brother government in Washington, D.C., with the benevolent dictators like Walter Mondale, who will promise lots of things, never mind whether the promises are fulfillable or not. Your leftists in United States, all these professors and all these beautiful civil rights defenders, they are instrumental in the process of the subversion only to destabilize the nation. When their job is completed, they are not needed anymore. They know too much. Some of them, when they get disillusioned, when they see that Marxist-Leninists come to power, obviously they get offended. They think that they will come to power. That will never happen, of course. They will be lined up against the wall and shot. But they may turn into the most bitter enemies of Marxist-Leninists when they come to power. And that's what happened in Nicaragua. You remember most of these former Marxist-Leninists were either put to prison or one of them split, and now he's working against Sandinistas. It happened in Grenada when Maurice Bishop was already a Marxist. He was executed.
Okay, what he's actually talking about right there is like whenever Reagan was president, and they down in Nicaragua there, and I may have this a little wrong or whatever, but you can do your own research on this. It's absolutely mind-blowing what happened. Well, Reagan couldn't get funded by the people to go down and help these individuals that was trying to overthrow, I don't remember if it's Nicaragua or one of them countries down below Mexico somewhere. But he couldn't get funded, so they did a secret deal that nobody knew about. And you can watch this if you want to watch 2 really good shows to actually just see what he's actually talking about. It's mind blowing. Is Kill the Messenger and American Made, or Made in America, with Tom Cruise in. If you watch those, it's absolutely unbelievable. I mean, unbelievable. But anyway, that's what he's just now talking about right here. So you got to dive into that story to stay up with this part of it right here. But you don't really have to dive in to see what he's talking about with the corruption and stuff, because we're already living in it right now, aren't we? We're drowning.
By a new Marxist who was more Marxist than this Marxist. Same happened in Afghanistan when first there was Taraki, he was killed by Amin, then Amin was killed by Babrak Karmal with the help of KGB. Same happened in Bangladesh.
And I don't know about you guys, maybe you guys understand, these names and stuff, but when I hear names like Ashudabudel or what, and you can't even pronounce these names and stuff, half of them, it's like you're like, well, I don't know nothing about that, I'll just back away from it. But you know what? You better run toward it, because that's what I'm doing, because I'm finding out all kinds of stuff that's led us up to a country that's wide open. That's wide open. It's the insanity is off the chart right now. Let's finish this out.
When Mujibur Rahman, very pro-Soviet leftist, was assassinated by his own Marxist-Leninist military comrades. It's the same pattern everywhere. The time bomb is ticking.
Assassinated. So what he's talking about is, all of these dipsticks that really think that they're worth something, Biden, Hunter, Camel Toe, they all think that they're important, but you can look at them and see how stupid they are. I mean, absolutely stupid. And, I'm like, everybody is they're shaking their head like, what the hell is going on? This is not our country. Guess what? You're right. It ain't your country. This is their country. that they're trying to take over your country. And if you want to keep your country, you better be calling. If you're sitting there right now and you're thinking, I don't have to do anything, you're in trouble. You know what? Here's the way I see it. I would rather absolutely go down swinging as to live through what's coming. If you read that Bible and you see, what it says, things going to turn into and everything. You know what? Just because the Bible says it's coming and stuff like that, that doesn't mean that we can't do something about it, because nobody knows when the end of time is except for our Lord, our Father, who is in heaven. He's the only one. Jesus even said he didn't even know. The only one that knows is his Father. So I'm going to fight until the very, very end. So anyway, if you're out there and you care about this country, help me fight. 202-224-3121. And speaking of that, I'm going to get ready and see if I can call Dr. Doolittle there, Brad Winstrup. So we'll be right back.
This is Congressman Brad Winstrup's office. How can I help you?
Hey, is that my buddy, Mr. Jake?
Yes, sir. How you doing, sir?
Okay. Actually, that's a lie. I don't want to start off with a lie. I ain't worth a damn. I mean, not worth a damn at all. I was trying to find out what all Brad was into and what he's working on and stuff. And I seen where he had signed a clean air bill or something. Are you aware of that?
Do you have the bill number, sir?
I don't have the bill number. I just read it off the site.
Give me 1 second, sir.
Well, the whole thing that I'm calling about here, Jake, is because he's not doing enough by no stretch of the imagination. I mean, I don't know what he's busy doing, but signing the Clean Air Act, I mean, I understand that this country definitely stinks now because of the smell and the shit that they are allowing to happen to this country. I mean, I'm glad that he's worried about the air, but let's take care of the problem that's causing the smell to begin with, right? If a dog comes in the middle of your floor and craps there, what do? You just start waving some Febreze around or something, or throw a napkin over it? No, you scoop that shit up and you throw it out the damn door, which is your border, right? Mm-hmm. We don't have a border. We don't have one of those. It's wide open. And I don't understand what is so hard for him to understand that I mean it. We, the people out here, are dead serious. We don't want him off on the weekends and stuff. And I'm calling during the week, and nobody's answering the phone or calling me back.
When did you call, sir?
Which time? I left a message.
Which time, sir?
I left a message. The last time that I called would have been February 28th or something like that.
You mean March 28th, sir?
Yeah, March 28th. Yeah, I said February. Yeah. Sorry, my apologies. My brain.
You're fine.
My brain, Jake, actually is on the stuff that's going on, and I don't understand why he's looking into COVID and clean air. And I mean, don't get me wrong; those are important, especially to me, seeing how the government allowed for we the people to be attacked by a purposely man-made I'm trying to think of the demonic thing that it is that was unleashed on we the people, and we wasn't protected by the very ones that swore to do that. And that the whole reason that we have these people put in place, Homeland Security and stuff, is to make sure that things like that does not get in. So Brad is supposed to be representing what we the people want. But you tell me this, why is it that every time that I talk to anybody, whether they come to me, I go to them, or we get together for any reason, why is it that none of us say, well, Brad, he's on our side. Old Brad, he's in there, he's fighting for all this. And do you think that it's two problems, clean air and COVID? Do you think that's like all that we the people are out here talking about? You think that's the only problem that's here in the United States of America? And we know what they're doing. You know what I got on my screen right now? Pull this up, Jake. You're going to love this.
Yeah, what's it called, sir?
It's Offensive Freedom is the channel, and it's KGB defector Yuri Bezmenov. I can't pronounce his name. Warning to America. It's 1984. But if you look up Offensive Freedom, here I'll have him to say the name.
Mr. Bezmenov was born in 1939 in a suburb of Moscow. Mr. Bezmenov was born in 1939 in a...
Yuri Bezmenov, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know much about him, but...
No, you're going to like this, Jake. No, we've talked a little bit now. I'm telling you, you're really going to like this one. And we just now went over the whole video before I called you. But I encourage you to pull that up and watch that and listen to that, because I'll just fill you in. Yuri here is doing an interview in 1984.
Outstanding experts.
And he is telling
is to change
the ideal of what's going on right now today. And without you have watching this and stuff like that, you won't get the full meaning. But I really want you to watch this, because you talk about mind blowing. And I already knew about this. I've been trying to remember this guy's name and stuff, and then I came across the video and somebody else had mentioned it, so that's how I had found it today. But this guy defected, and he come over to America, and he's telling exactly how they're taking our country without firing the first bullet, which is what they said. That's what Russia said back in whatever time it was, or what have you, But he's telling about how Marx, Lenin, or whatever would be taking over the impressionable college soft minds and stuff at a certain stage, and that nobody would even know to do anything about it, because it's like right now. Are we going to? Is somebody going down to the college and nosing around and finding out what they're actually teaching and stuff? Absolutely not. We know this now because it's went so far that if you go into the schools, and somebody would have told me back when I was going to school that somebody was going to identify as a cat or some garbage like whatever, and they was going to put in a litter box for them, I'm telling you right now, we would have lost our ever-loving minds laughing. That would have been like the funniest thing, or the most insane thing that we'd ever heard. But no, in fact, look at where our wimpy ass military is. And I'm not talking about the real military. I'm not talking about the real military, the American military. I'm talking about this fake garbage, weak stuff that they're putting up in front of American stuff, because they don't want to show you the guys who's ripping across the ladders and swinging across the mud holes and the ropes and being buried up to their necks and getting water sprayed on them 8 hours or whatever and freezing to death. Nope, we're talking about the eyeshadow wearing, sissified, mental disturbed individuals that are high ranking in the military. And see, this is part of exactly what this man is talking about. Because when I start saying, and I start putting down the military, okay, well, it's putting down the military, but there's going to be somebody that's not smart enough to figure out that I'm not actually talking about the real military, the real men and the real women, that's the Americans that's actually got common sense, and they're not insane, that I'm talking about the sickness that they have infected it with. So whenever you say military, if somebody doesn't understand which part that I'm talking about, they'll get butthurt, and then they just become part of the problem. This is exactly what this man here is warning about. And I'm pointing to the guy what's his, I just said, Yuri? Yeah, Yuri. I'm pointing to him on the screen, Jake, because you can't see that right now, but this is the confusion that they're causing. And this is exactly what this man is talking about. And we are in it. We're not, it's not coming now, because this was done in 84, and he already said that he'd been here for 14 years back in 84, and he said that even he was blown away at the level that it had already reached at that time. So look where we're at now. It's like we can't figure it out. Who? If somebody ever just all of a sudden went on the news and said, hey, if you're in another country and you want to come to America, don't worry about coming over here and doing it the right way, or there's none of that, just come right on in. And on top of that, we're going to give you $350 a day. $350 a day. Look at it. Do you know right now that they was going to tear down some school or something like that in some state? And I don't know the state, because see, there's so much garbage right now. I don't have to say exactly what state, because there's so many of them. It's like, pick somewhere. The insanity. It's like if you go to Washington, full of insanity, right? If you go to Indiana, same thing. Ohio, especially, this is crazy. You do not have to pick out, but they're taking that school, that old school that they was going to tear down, and instead, the government. When they say government, we're talking about the morons that are using our money to rebuild this old school. And what are they going to do with it? Nope, they're not going to put in our veterans and stuff that we should be taking care of, that's already been kicked out of places. No, they're fixing that up for what? Oh, yeah. Some more of these invaders. Jake, I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but do you...
What's the name of the school, sir?
I don't recall that.
Well, if you do remember, I'd be more than happy to look into it for you.
Okay, well, stay with me a minute, because you know what? You're going to find several of those. The invaders that's coming in here are getting paid, and they're getting paid well, just like that one that was screaming. You remember we looked at it?
Yep.
Well,
sure.
See, he was too loud, so I hear that he got arrested and stuff like that, but yet he didn't get arrested?
They're still looking for him.
Oh, they're still looking for him. But his woman and the child are still receiving money and benefits. So, but he was on there with wads of cash and everything else. If you haven't seen that video, you can go find him or whatever. But there is just so much stuff right now. It's overwhelming. And this is what he's talking about on here. Jake, I really, really want you to watch this video with this Yuri guy. I mean, I'm not even kidding you. I want everybody to go and look this up and watch it and listen to it on your own and see what he's saying, if it's not verbatim what's going on right now. Jake, this is going to absolutely blow your mind when you watch this. And remember, this guy here is not just anybody. I mean, he was well educated and well informed on this subject.
Yeah, and I'll be happy to look into it for you, sir. I don't have the chance to watch right now since I'm on the phone, but once we wrap up, I'll be happy to do that.
we've got too much stuff going on, Jake, for Brad to be taking off weekends. We really do. He can't be taking off no time right now. Time is of the essence right now, and as November is closing in on us, they're running out of time.
New York for one.
New York
Is one of them.
Oh, New York, I guess, is one of them that's redoing some school.
Okay.
Gnome's right now looking it up while we're on here right now, but yeah, and that's not the only one. I mean, you can pick a state and everything. They're not turning in. Matter of fact, they're trying to cover up as much as they possibly can, about this. But they are burying us. What they're doing is, at some point in time, they sneak around and they say stuff. Just like, them limp-wristed people. Back in the day, they would have stayed in the closet. They was careful about who they talked to and stuff. And we knew they was there, and we thought, well, as long as they stay in the closet, stay out of the way, we're all right. Well, clearly that wasn't the case because that wasn't good enough for them. So now these nasty individuals are out dancing on our streets and stuff in front of children and everything else. And whatever happened to indecent exposure? What happened to that? Did somebody just do away with that? And I'm going to tell you something right now. These black-robed individuals that's calling themselves judges, no. Nope. They are no friend to we the people. And if there are certain, Thomas in the Supreme Court, I think he's really one of the main ones that actually sort of does what you'd want your Supreme Court justices to do. But that Ketanji Jackson or whatever, everybody knows that is Marxist Lenin all over her. Everybody knows that, And when you're looking at Supreme Court judges or whatever, this is insanity when people look at them and they say, nope, we don't like that. Because let me ask you something. If they're supposed to be in there for we the people, and you can't find people other than nutballs that say, oh yeah, they're good people, that person couldn't even tell us what a woman is. I don't know if you watched her, when they was vetting her or screening her or whatever before Biden put her in there or not. But they asked her what a woman was, and she wouldn't answer that for nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
during the Senate confirmation hearing, sir.
Yes. Yeah, you caught that one, huh?
Yeah, I don't remember the specifics about the conversation, but I do remember that, sir.
Wow, good for you. Thanks, Jake, for watching that stuff. We appreciate that, man. All of us have got to keep an eye on everything that's going on. This is cool. This is, I'm going to point out something here. Look up delete laws with Chili De Castro. He right now is in jail because he was filming a cop, and the cop got his feelings hurt because he was being filmed. He says that he asked Chili to back up, which filming the cops at a stop is not only your right, but it's your duty to do so. And why would anybody have any kind of a problem with being filmed, especially if they have a body camera on and they're filming themselves also? There's people out there that'll say, well, you shouldn't interfere with the cops doing their job. Well, that's not true at all, is it? And one way that we know that that's a bullshit claim, if anybody says, well, we shouldn't be filming the cops and stuff, let me point out what happened to George Floyd. Okay? Now, there's a lot of people out there that say, oh, that didn't happen, and everything. Look, I go where the truth is. And and I can only go off what my eyes can see. This is why I hate AI. This is why I hate all the stuff that's going on, because right now they have people, Jake, that's calling and faking voices and stuff from their own daughters and stuff, and telling relatives, dads out there, mothers, families, hey, we've got your daughter, and if you don't send us so much money, she's going to be alive.
That occurred to one of my best friend's grandmothers, where it was a AI robocall that was imitating my friend. It called, that robocall called the grandmother saying, "Hey, I'm stuck in jail in such and such location. Please send me $500 at this link so I can get out." So yes, it's a major issue that is very concerning for the country, and it's something we need to work on.
Well, hey, Jake, thank you very much for sharing that. I mean that. I really appreciate that. That's pretty huge. Up until now, I've only seen this, luckily, thankfully, so far just off of videos and stuff. So to know somebody, it happened.
I know someone it happened to as well.
Really? Mm-hmm. Wow. See,
her grandson is in the armed forces, and she got a phone call stating that he had been arrested. And as anyone knows, if you're in the armed forces and you get arrested, you're in deep doo-doo.
Oh, yeah.
And they needed $5,000 from her just for bail. Otherwise, he was going to be court-martialed and everything. And she was getting ready to send it when her grandson actually called and was like, hi, and everything. And yeah, if he wouldn't have called her, she would have thought it was real. And yeah, she would have sent it.
Okay,
it's
now.
a problem for our seniors because they're the primary targets of those robocalls, and sometimes it's impossible to know any better because it sounds so
Authentic?
similar to the AI call compared to a regular person talking. It's gotten so
Authentic.
close from a technological.
It sounds.
It's pretty scary if you ask me.
Yeah, they sound authentic. I mean, somebody that's been around somebody as long as you was and known has been to these people and stuff, if they call you up, it's just like talking with you right now, Jake. It's I recognize your voice. And somebody calls and then all of a sudden they're like, well, and they start saying something that's completely out of your character and stuff. It just, you would fall for it, if it's done the right way. But and then you and I and everybody on here, we went through and watched where the Pope was there at the window and all of a sudden just disappeared, So we know that we're being deceived. And again, right here real quick, I'll reiterate, this is why we're saying that we want Brad to be working 24/7 right now. We're not going to apologize for this at all, that he needs to be working because he's in the government. He's the problem. He's the representative. He's the one that this is the way this is set up, see? Because if I don't do things the right way, which is why I was talking about Chili on Delete Laws, that's in jail right now, he's in prison, is what he was filming the person that was detained by a cop or whatever, and the cop didn't like to be filmed, and he asked Chili to back up, which Chili did, but then as the cop was walking back to the car or whatever, Chili called him a little puppy dog or something like that. Now here's the thing, a lot of people will say, oh, you shouldn't have done that, but think about how the cops treat us. Here, let me take you back over. Now, a lot of people, they're going to say, well, George Floyd, that never happened and everything. Let me tell you, that's why we was talking about AI, so I'm glad that I brought myself back around to that. Because if you watch what happened to George Floyd, I don't care. There's been people who said, oh, that wasn't real, he went to jail or whatever. Well, then we have an even bigger problem, don't we? Because how is it that they are allowing... Because if somebody asked me if that happened, 100% that happened. Seen it as real as it could be through the eyes of the guy who was awarded an award for journalism who was standing 6 feet away from George Floyd and these other blue line thugs. Because if you watch that and you don't get infuriated, you're no kind of a human being, period. And I'm saying based off of if that was real, and I know it was real, and until somebody proves to me that that was AI or that was fake or something like that, but it wasn't fake. It was there. And then there's people that says, well, but he was a dopey. Well, what the hell does that matter? I don't care if it is a dopey. I don't care if it's the worst person on planet Earth. Unless it's Biden, of course. But if somebody is holding down somebody and they put their knee on your neck and there's 3 individuals, the guy is hogtied, laying on his face, and they stayed there. Go watch the video. Have you seen it, Jake?
I have, sir.
And what's your take on that? Everything was good?
Oh, it was an absolutely brutal move, and
Okay.
really disgusting looking back.
Okay, well, here's what I want to know. If any individual we don't care what color George Floyd was. Okay, now let's take the name away. Let's call it John Doe or Janie Doe, a woman or a man. But let's keep it a man because it's hard to watch even like it is. But let's just say that that's a blank. Anybody knows or anything, and the only thing you know about this person, this individual, is from the time that they take him and they put the cuffs on him to the time when the ambulance shows up, not with EMTs, not with medical people, the cops show up and they scoop him up and put him on that gurney and wheel him down the road. You heard right. Go watch it. Unbelievable. And, I've heard people, especially Republicans, conservatives and stuff, and they're like, well, he was a dopey. Well, he was this. It doesn't make any difference. If you watch that, you know it was wrong. It was wrong. Period. Go watch it. Go watch it. Look up George Floyd and watch that. I challenge all of you out there to go watch it and then come up with any conclusion other than that was just beyond unbelievably cruel, So, the reason why that I bring that up is because just like with Chili, see, he's filming a cop, and the cop didn't like being called a little doggy because Chili told him, said, "Now go do your job, little doggy," or something like that. So as soon as Chili said those words, which is words, the cop comes back and arrests Chili. Now he's in jail right now, so he had to go in front of the black-robed one, that's all powerful and stuff. And if you would see it, Chili brings in his phone to court. And so I don't remember if he was filming or not, but the judge, so he wasn't filming, he just had his phone with him. Gnome's filling me in there behind the camera. But so Chili's just got his phone with him. And so he's not filming or anything, but he has his phone. The judge didn't like that he had his phone. So he says, hey, you need to give up your phone or what have you. So Chili, and you can watch this. As a matter of fact, we'll do that. We'll be right back. All right, we're back, everybody, and we got this here pulled up here from Delete Laws here. We're just going to show you real quick what's happening here, and it's always okay. Now, as you can see, right here is the cop body cam. See where his feet is? So the cop right here, this is the tyrant right there. Okay, he tells him to move back, and this is why the circles are drawn around Chili's feet here, because they said he didn't back up, and he clearly did back up. So if you look, that's at least 3 feet that he backed up from the spot that he was at, because over here it shows his feet is across the line, and then when he told him back up, now you can see he's clearly back. But the cop said no, he didn't, and even whenever he's at court and everything, he still like triples down on no, he didn't back up, so on and so forth. Now if we go to the
Back again.
Okay, let's go into the courtroom. Now look here. Right here he is on his traffic stop. Now, this here judge, black robed one here. Now see, look right here. This is him. The judge didn't like him having his phone with him. So this is where Chili is walking over with the cell phone, and he's about to hand it over to who he thinks he's supposed to hand it to, and walks the thug for the robed one here. Which, remember, all these people have their power. It's not because of them, the skin bags that they are. None of these people have that power for themselves. It's from we the people. That's where the power comes from. And they abuse it all the time. Because you see the robed one's finger here and everything. See, she wants total control and everything. But clearly, watch his demeanor. There was no directive given what to do with the phone or anything. So he thought that he would just, watch here. See? And then as he walks away, he was just humiliated for no reason. And he said, he called the bailiff there for the robed one a pig. And she didn't like it. And then later on, we find out that the robed one right here, who is she married to? Oh yeah, a cop. So she already had it out for Chili DeCastro before he even come in there, because the robed one here has access to a computer, and she can look up delete laws at any given time and find out that Chili does not like the cops. And I don't like the cops the way that they are. And everybody says, oh, they're not all bad. Well, you haven't experienced them. And the problem that they have, just get on there and talk to the people. And I'm not talking about, if you haven't had any dealings with them, I don't want to hear about it. But if you have had dealings with them, you'll know exactly what we're talking about. And why is it that whenever there's a cop around, nobody says, oh, good, look, there's so-and-so. And he happens to be a peace officer, you know. Nope, nobody ever says that. Everybody's like, oh, there's a cop. Shh, quiet, you know. You can watch them. It's like NASCAR racing up and down the highway, and nobody getting hurt, no nothing. But then you throw a cop car out there, and it's like the pace car comes out. You know, it's like everybody falls behind. They're jockeying for a position and everything. Won't say that I've never been there myself a million times, because we all have. But I've also been cruising along at a healthy, whatever the speed limit is, and have one of these entitled people that wears the power of the people with a badge blast by me with no lights on, nothing at all, for no reason. Get on up the road and find out that they pulled into, McDonald's or something, you know. So, but I'm going to turn the audio on here for just a minute, Jake. This is like only just a few seconds long here, so you can actually see what goes on here, because this is really quite unbelievable. Let me rewind it here just a second.
I don't really want to be part of your YouTube channel.
Sir, you already are.
Great.
You already are.
Excuse me?
You see, he wasn't jumping up and down or anything, but we'll watch it again here real quick. But watch, he's not jumping around or nothing. He was just handing his phone over.
I stepped back again. But my counsel didn't do that.
I don't really want to be part of your YouTube channel.
Sir, you already are.
Great.
You already are.
Excuse me?
I said he's a pig. And I had this really crazy...
So, they actually took this so far to where Chili has been in a horrible prison now, because she passed sentence on him because his channel is all about just reforming the police. That's all we really want. It's like, I mean, think about this, Jake. How did, okay, I don't know where you live at, But let's say that you and I live close to each other here, and I'll apologize for that, by the way.
There's no worries.
Let's say Jackson County, Ohio. Okay. Now, you and I, we want to know about the place where we're living at, and so we go up and we find out, is there a police station here? Yep, there's a police station. Okay, and then you see these police officers. Where did they come from? And I'm not talking about their human beings. They came from their mothers. We understand that. But what I want to know is, do you know, does anybody out there know, where did those police officers come from?
Are you talking about like training, sir?
But you tell me. Pick any place you want to go right now.
I assume they went to the police academy and they were allowed to be on the force as a deputy and then worked their way up, depending on the type of office, of course.
Okay, well, you and I would assume correctly. If everything is legit, right? Okay, now, what academy was that?
I don't know police academies very well, sir, so I couldn't give you a good answer.
No, but you, Jake, you already see exactly what I'm saying here is like, just because you see a police officer, you assume that they came from an academy, but where do you get that information that, and we're just talking about, remember, we're talking about the low-life, low-level cop. We're talking about the plain, average cop, you know, he's not a lieutenant or a sergeant or anything like that. We're talking about just a basic cop. Okay, now we say, okay, well, this guy here has a job as a police officer, so he had to come from an academy somewhere. Okay, well, what academy? So where do we find that information on each individual? If you walk up to that individual and you say, what academy did you go to? Wouldn't you think that would be like a proud thing that somebody would want to say and say, yeah, I went to the academy of, Columbus, Ohio, or wherever it was at? But instead, they'll take attitude that you're asking any question to them. See, that's a problem. But that's not really the thing that I want to point out. I mean, it's one of them. But, okay, now you see the police officers walking around, and then we're like, well, who hired those police officers, Jake? I mean,
well, the sheriff's office, the city police office, it depends on the type of department.
Now, wait a minute. Wait. Now, we're talking about the police, the city police.
Okay, city police. So, well, it depends. Like I said, the sheriff's office does have purview of the county, but if you're talking about city police, it's just the city police department. Police chief likely gets recommendations for possible police candidates, and he makes decisions from there.
Okay, now the police chief. There you go. Perfect. That's exactly where we need to go. Where'd the police chief come from?
I imagine he worked his way up the chain, sir. Chain of command, excuse me.
So are you saying that a police chief comes from another police officer?
Oh, sometimes it's, they hire within, and sometimes they hire from other police departments. I mean, I'm not completely certain. I mean, every office, every department is different, but if you have any information, I'd love to learn some more,
Well, you know what? You and I are actually pointing out the very thing that needs to be pointed out. Because you are absolutely in the same frame of mind as I was. And I still am. Okay, if you see a police chief, okay, so are you saying that the police chief is the one responsible for hiring the police officers?
Well, he is in charge of the department, so I assume so.
Okay, but we're assuming. So we can't factually say that the police chief does hire them. But let's in fact say, let's just, just kind of, because we don't really know, right? And this is a problem. This is the problem already. You and I right now are pointing out the very problem that we have with the whole government. Because if we're expected to go out and trust our government, how can you trust the government if we don't even know how the police officers are even hired or put in there, and by whom? Like, how is this set up? This is what we need to establish and know if we're ever going to get on the right track here. You know, we've got to build a whole new set of tracks. And for us not to know this, so let me get back on this because this is really good. Okay, first of all, who hires the police chief? Who?
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Jake. Go ahead. Who?
I want to hear your answer, sir.
Well, okay. Who hires the police chief is the service director, and the mayor, right? Okay. Where does the mayor come from? Where does the service
Mayor
director?
is typically elected as an individual
Right. Okay.
government
So
office or the main leadership position of like a city council, for instance.
okay. So here's what we're going to do now. All of a sudden, everybody votes for not me. They vote for our buddy Jake. Now Jake becomes the mayor of Jackson County, Ohio. Okay. Now, Mayor Jake, where did you go to school at? Okay, you can make up something. You don't have to say anything, but let's say that you, well, I mean, you told me this once before. Didn't you take like business, I think?
It was public administration, sir.
Oh, yeah, public administration. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so instead of asking you a bunch of questions and stuff, would you say any of what you've already taken and stuff would give you a real good, reasonable authority to pick somebody that knows how to treat the public when they're out in public?
Oh, I'd say, being a young person who's just starting off his career, I wouldn't necessarily have the experience to make a decision like that. I would need, many years in this profession to make an educated decision.
Well, thank you, Jake, very much for being flat honest like that, because you know what? You just said verbatim what everybody that I talk to says exactly. That is exactly what everybody I've ever talked to when we're talking about this, that's the same exact way that we all put it. Now, why am I saying that? Because if we elect Jake and he just said, well, hey, I don't know how to, elect, cops to be out there, but yet you elect the service director, okay, because service director, gets appointed by the mayor. Is that correct?
Depends on the county, but I believe so, sir.
Oh, okay, so see, there again, we're not 100% sure, and neither am I, but I do know this from personal experiences that I actually have seen this done where a mayor has appointed the service director. And when he appointed the service director, I can tell you firsthand that that's why he appointed the service director, because the mayor had no clue to what to do when it came to police. But the service director that came in was corrupt all to pieces or whatever. And what do you think that what quality do you think the police officers that or actually he is the one that hired the police chief, which was corrupt as all get out. And what kind of officers do you think that corrupt guy that was hired as a police chief? Because see, all of a sudden, this person is smacked with the power of the people, that title of being police chief, or the service director, as all of a sudden bestowed a bunch of power and stuff to do things with our city and our towns and our states and stuff that affects us directly. We have to get this down. We have to understand that if we're going to change how we're getting treated, because this literally is the tail wagging the dog, and we definitely can't have that happening. This can't happen, because look at what's going on
Our
right now.
warehouse is overloaded.
we've got to get this figured out and straightened out so that we know that the mayor is elected. This has to stop. You can't do that. You can't elect a mayor and then say, okay, well, we elected the mayor, we're good now. Because I'll be honest with you, I never thought, wait a minute, electing this mayor means he is the one or she is the one that gets to determine if I'm out doing something and I need help. They're going to be picking the people that's supposed to come out and help me, and which I have had to call the law before, and they showed up not to take care of the problem of somebody that trespassed on me, but they showed up and they became aggressive towards me and infringed on my rights and stuff. This is how this is happening. We have to understand better, and we have to make people accountable. Look, when we say accountable, we can't just say, well, hold them accountable. We have to use our words, and we have to use our power. We have to use a pen and paper and write down, okay, in order, if there is a mayor elected, okay, his credentials, if it's not in how to pick police officers or something, we need a committee or, different people from the town to come together and to research and put, say, hey, we want to hire a police chief for the county of Jackson. If you're interested, send your resume in or whatever, and then bring those people in front of the committee and stuff, and then verify, just like if you're going to rent a house or something like that, find out where they come from, find out where they went to school, find out if they believe in God or not. Because I'm going to tell you something, I don't want somebody that doesn't believe in God ever rendering me totally helpless, putting me in cuffs. And here's the thing. If somebody says, well, why would you be in cuffs if you didn't do anything wrong? Well, clearly you're an idiot and you don't live on this planet Earth right here, because you don't have to do something wrong to be put in torture cuffs. Chili DeCastro right here got arrested and done like this. And this tyrant right here that's wearing this robe right here absolutely should be prosecuted above and beyond what anybody could even imagine, because she's using us, we the people, the power of the people, to do something to him that if you watch it, I don't care what he said. Okay, you have a First Amendment right, and that's being stomped on. First of all, why would somebody talk about him being a pig and stuff? They earned their reputation of being pigs. They earned their reputation of being a robed tyrant. You earn that. Okay, you have to earn respect. That's not given, it's earned. But the problem of it is, they told us back in school, Jake, I don't know if you remember this or not. I know you're a young guy or whatever. No, I don't know if you remember this or not. You're young, yeah. But they told us, they said, well, if you see a police officer, you run right up and tell them thanks. And by golly, you know what? I fell right into that. If I seen somebody wearing the blue or something like that, And by the way, our flag, our American flag, they say it's not good enough for them. They have to have their own flag with their little thin blue line and stuff. Well, clearly that thin blue line is the separation between us and them, And make no mistake about it, the majority of the cops out there are narcissists. They are narcissists. They not only will they turn, they're not turned on, they're already against you. But you can watch the videos and stuff where their own brothers in blue come up and they would say, hey, this, that, or whatever. And then the other one, they're like two bulls fighting each other. They'll go right at each other because they just hate everything. We got to make sure, we got to figure this out. This is an ongoing thing too, by the way. They said that you got to start local with your elections and stuff like that. Well, I don't think anybody is really doing what I'm doing now, and what I'm doing with Jake's help and all of you out there is we will figure this out. We're going to find out the answers to this. I promise you. we're going to find out how a cop is hired and how we know what the credentials are. We're going to find out who hires or how the service director comes to be. We're going, of course, we already know about the mayor, Jake. We already know they get elected. They're elected official. So we're going to find out all of these things right on up to the mayor and the governor and so on and so forth. And we got to hold these people accountable. And is this one problem? Yes, absolutely. This is just one problem. The problem that our buddy Brad Winstrup has is he doesn't understand that he can't just be grabbing at one or two or a few problems right now. He has a shit ton of problems that has been presented to him. And and I'm going to tell you right now, I do hold Brad accountable, or I absolutely blame him because he is my representative, and we the people don't feel like that he is representing us, especially when he's out and he's signing clean air bills and stuff like that. And let's see, I think he was in on the what was that other one? Anyway. We need him to pick up several problems right now. This is not a job that requires tackling one or two or a handful or even 100 problems. This is not death by 100 cuts or 1,000 cuts. This is literally how many of these invaders are in here? Well over 10 million now. So this is not an easy job for him. We understand that, you know. But until we get this straightened out with term limits and stuff like that, which I want him to also pick up and I would like to know where he's at on coming up with, or how we're doing with the bullshit law. Because the things that don't make sense in our government there needs to be somebody, and if you want to, in particular, what I'm talking about with the unreasonable. See, it's already there. This is already there. It says unreasonable fines, like the $400 and some million fine that was imposed on Trump, that they're trying to get rid of, because just like the guy said that we watched just a little bit ago there from Russia, that's what he's saying. That they're going to crush us because they will eliminate any kind of somebody that has enough money to actually fight against them. Why do you think they're trying to take Trump out of the way? Because it's not, in fact, Trump. It's not Trump. It's us. It's we the people. That's who they want rid of. And they're not talking about so much. You know what? I'm going to tell you, I had to stop myself right there. Young people are amazing out there. For a long time, I thought, man, they're not getting it. It's going to be gone. I'm going to fight for nothing. This is a losing, because the young people. But man, did I have that wrong? And man, I will apologize for that, because I have so many young people now that's like standing up to the plate and stuff, and they genuinely are not just getting it, but they're giving it back to me and showing me things that I didn't even see, which is a really wonderful way to be wrong. So I appreciate that. We're praying for you. We appreciate all the subscribers out there. The channel is right at, we're almost at 1,000. What was it known this morning? Like 980 something. Mm-hmm. So we're growing.
Last time we spoke, it was like 945. Has it gone up to 980, sir?
See what it is, Jake. You're there on your computer pretty easy.
Give me 1 second.
But we're still growing, and that's all thanks to you guys out there. Jake's been just absolutely a rock star with helping us figure out things here. He's went above and beyond.
You are at 985 YouTube subscribers right now, sir.
Oh, 985. So we're 15 away. We're 15 away from getting 1,000. Yeah, and that's just kind of a thing. It's not a goal or anything of mine. It's just something that I never thought would actually happen, Jake. But thanks to like-minded people out there that's watching the channel and stuff from the UK and France and other countries and stuff is just really, really quite humbling to tell you the truth about it. Because I didn't care if I just had 5 people when I first started this out. Really. But you know what? What you and I are doing right now, what all of us are doing right now, is what it's going to take to win this country. Because if not, I mean, think about where they're wanting us to be. They're wanting us to walk. You know what? I'm saying that. They don't even want us to walk. But let's say that you walk and you go into a theater, which you don't get to pick what show or how much or whatever. Of course, you don't have to pay anything because you're going to have a little chip in you somewhere. And you're going to walk in and it'll say number 793000 credit deduction, you know, or whatever. And then you walk in and you watch the propaganda film about you need to worship your president or your king or whatever at all times, you know. And this is what they're doing in China with TikTok. If you haven't been on TikTok, God bless you. Don't get on TikTok. It's China owned or whatever. They have links to it and everything. Everybody's losing their mind about. I don't like how they did it. I don't like how I don't like how they're trying to take TikTok away from the people the way that they're doing it. If you show somebody, if you say, hey, look, we understand you guys are using TikTok or whatever, but here's what we're going to do. Why don't they do this, Jake? How come that we don't say, you know what? We're banning TikTok out there, but there's a bunch of people out here with money. If y'all get together and raise a certain amount of money, why don't we do this anyway? Like find technicians or something that can create a platform. Since we're throwing TikTok out, there's no real obligation to hold to any patents that they might hold on that platform. So why don't we just create our own platform and call it We the People? You know, that's completely, you know, if you want to tell somebody this or you want to tell somebody that, whatever, completely uncensored, because we have the ability to censor ourselves. This is stupid on a stick. It's literally shit on a shingle. If you are on a channel, hey, let me ask you something, Jake, you don't like what I'm saying right now. How hard is it to get rid of me?
Say it again?
If you do, if you're done with me right now, and you don't want to hear me anymore, how hard is it for you to end talking to me right now?
So if I was talking on my cellular phone, if like let's say I didn't want to talk to you anymore, I could technically block your number. I wouldn't do that.
Right, absolutely. But my point being is you can hang up on me. Like right now, you wouldn't do that because you know that, well, first of all, I know you're not going to because you're in this fight with us. I honestly, truly believe that. And everybody I'm talking to out here, we all feel that you're on our side too. So we really appreciate your time and your patience, but your input also is really, really awesome. So we appreciate you. The same way with Charles, he probably ran for the hills when he seen the phone ringing. But make sure that you tell Charles we said we're still praying for him. We appreciate him too, Jake.
Happy to do so, sir.
But we need to figure all this out, this lineup that's going on. Like, how are we? Because think about it. When you go out, maybe, you know, there's two sides of this. If you're going to be pulled over by somebody, because let's say that you was, you know, running a little faster than usual. I certainly never do that. But if they pull you over, you want to be treated with respect. It's like, hey, what are you doing today, Jake? Oh, you know, just heading to the store. You know, a little bit of a hurry. Yeah, I was kind of a little bit in a hurry. I was trying to get back, you know, I had a birthday or I got to get back to the party or something, you know. Ran out of beer or something. And then I'm like, well, you know, I'm going to have to breathalyze you, you know. Well, I really wish that you wouldn't. And I'm like, Jake, I can tell you're a little bit inebriated there, brother. If you don't mind, would you stand up out of that car there and I'm going to put these cuffs on here and drag you through the dirt and step on your face and stuff? You know, how do you want to be treated? if something happens. You know, you can do it the right way or you can do it the wrong way. And you watch 9 times out of 10, or maybe more than that, 9.5% of the time or whatever, nobody's going to resist. But yet these cops and stuff are dressed full body armor. They're dressed to the teeth like they're military people, you know, like they're going to battle. And their most important thing is going home. Not your rights, going home. That's wrong. Let me tell you why that's wrong. It's because they sign up and they take an oath and everything to uphold the Constitution. Our rights should be first. And if you're afraid to do that, you shouldn't put on the power of the people. Because it's for the people, of the people, by the people. People. You know? It ought to be first and foremost about God, which is God, family, and country. You know? And then guns. A lot of them. A lot of guns. You know, why does guns scare people and stuff? Let me tell you what's going on here. We are getting flooded with all of these... Jake, everybody out there, I've got to tell you this. Do you know what one of the things that I'm finding out that's being said, why this invasion is happening to the United States? I want you to hear this. They are saying that a war with China is going to happen. They said the invasion from China is going to happen. So if you break it down person for person, that we're way outnumbered by China, which we already know that, right? So we got to have bodies and stuff for the military because can't get nobody to sign up. I wonder why that is. Jake, you know what? I'm thinking about running right out. If I'm a 20-year-old man or 18 years old, I'm going to run right out and join the service because this government is just so wonderful to me. 18 years old, they treat me so good, you know. They try to confuse me. They try to tell me that I'm not a male, that I need to wrap my boobs or I need to cut certain things off or whatever, you know. They say, oh, get a job and just pay me half of whatever you're bringing in. And then, by the way, try to find you a house and pay your car. And, by the way, don't forget to pay your taxes at the end of the year. And just because so-and-so bought a new car, paid the taxes on that, and then they sell that same car that already had taxes paid on it to somebody else, well, pay taxes again. Because we are the government, and we are your friend. That's what they're telling me as an 18-year-old. And see, I can identify as an 18-year-old boy. I know this because I like ice cream a lot. I do. But do you see the you see what I'm saying here? It's like, why would anybody want to sign up for the military right now? Why would you want to do that? And then they wonder, they say, we can't get nobody to sign up. I wonder why. Because it's crap on a stick. Everybody knows it. So what do? They say, well, let's just not have a border and let's bring in all of these people that's out of the insane asylums and stuff, as if we need more insane people here. You know, I mean, where are we heading to? Have you seen that movie, Jake? It's called, what's the name of that movie that I told you about? It's absolutely crazy, where they hire a president and stuff that was a wrestler and stuff. Idiocracy.
Yeah. I've seen that movie, sir.
And don't you feel like that we're living exactly like that? In the movie, they're doing everything that's like so crazy. And here's just one of the trivial things from the movie. When you look at the movie, look and you will see people wearing Crocs. The director of that movie actually knew the person who invented and was selling Crocs, and they thought, nobody in their right mind is going to be wearing those stupid shoes. I'm putting them in the movie. True story. So everything in the movie is supposed to like be nuts, right? But everybody's wearing Crocs now, right? Go figure. Now I wonder why that is. Just like the Simpsons, the Simpsons are, everybody. The big thing about the Simpsons is that it foretold a lot of the things now that's already come to pass that actually turned out to be true and right on. So you can look that up. But Idiocracy, when they say, well, we're going to hire, a wrestler. I can't think of the guy's name that played the president on there.
It's Owen Wilson's brother. I'm trying to remember what his name is.
Luke.
Luke?
Is it Luke Wilson? Is that the name?
Yeah, anyway, fantastic.
Yeah, it's Luke Wilson.
Yeah, great, good actor, Yeah. Don't worry, Noam, we'll credit you and Jake with that. Yeah. See back here saying, Luke? Yeah. But anyway... But if you think about it, we've already had a president now that, I used to think that it was crazy that we had an actor that became a president, Ronald Reagan,
Mm-hmm.
But now look.
Well, technically, President Trump was an actor as well. He was in The Apprentice.
Well, but that was more supposed to be reality TV.
Yeah. I'm being technical, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, don't be trying to step on Trump there, because right now.
No, I'm not.
No, I'm just kidding. But I'm actually glad you said that, and I know you was just kidding. But one thing that we have to point out, Jake, is that it's not Trump. You have to take that word away, Trump, and you have to replace it with we the people. Because we the people see what they're doing. Why is it that whenever he, goes into court and stuff like that, his numbers go up? I mean, this is it's so easy to see, but this is what the guy from Russia a while ago was pointing out. When you see things that don't line up, that's not making sense, this is exactly what he's talking about. Go watch this and listen to this guy that I just showed on here. Or go back on here and watch it again. And listen to what he's saying. It's playing out. I mean, word for word. It's crazy how right on that it is. But when they're trying to discredit Trump, what's actually happening there is we know that it's an attack on we the people. They get rid of Trump, and he even said, they're not really after me. They're after you, and I'm just standing in the way. And that's a fact, Jack. He's right on when he says that. And we know that. We know that's true. So we are bolstering him. We are standing, beside of him, and we're holding him up, and I don't think he'll forget it. I pray that he doesn't, power, what is it? Noam, Jake, you guys help me out here. Power corrupts and absolute.
Ultimate power corrupts. Their absolute power goes hand in hand.
Yeah, but how does it say it? It says power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's it. And that's exactly what's going on here, to the point where they used to hide this away whenever they was trying to do something diabolical to us or something. And, really, I shouldn't use that word because it makes it sound like it's a cartoon or a comic book or something. And, in a lot of ways, it kind of is like a comic book, because I never ever thought that we would be in a situation where we're at now. But we have to find our way out of this, and we have to start really, really standing up for ourselves, because as we can see, again, like what Yuri was talking about, we can't wait on our government officials, even if they have the best intentions, because they're tied. And this is what Yuri was talking about. Brad here is being tied up. But I don't want him to use that as an excuse, but because he has to fight through all of the red tape and stuff. Like, let's say that all of a sudden that we want a bill out there that says, oh, leave our guns alone. Well, wait a minute. We already have that. It's called the Second Amendment. Okay. We don't need another one, but let's say that he all of a sudden goes after and says, which is what we the people want, anybody that's trying to take away anything to do with that Second Amendment, I don't care who it is, it's already there. We know why it's there, and it has to be there. So if somebody is trying to weaken that, even in the slightest ways or whatever, they should be prosecuted and terminated immediately under scrutiny of we the people. We'll be right back. All right, so when we're looking at all of these situations that's going on, which just now we had to take a break because there's bad weather and stuff like that going on today, a lot of tornadoes happening and so on and so forth. Libraries and stuff are shutting down. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about this because by the time this gets loaded up and processed and everything, it'll be past. But just know this, we're definitely praying for y'all out there for sure. Jake, the reason why that I was bringing this up with Chili on here and stuff is because we want Brad, along with all the other garbage that he's picked up and stuff, to look into this corrupt judge that is, putting him in jail for an unreasonable amount of time. And she shouldn't even have done what she did. So if you look that up under delete laws, you'll be able to find it. It's travesty of justice, condemned by bias, and that's under delete laws. But this judge clearly, I mean, there's already cameras and stuff like that in there. But here's all I want to know, okay? She told Chili that he wasn't allowed to have his phone, and he was walking his phone to who he thought he should give, because there was no directive of reach your phone to your attorney. There was no bailiff, will you retrieve the phone that DeCastro's got? Nothing like that. She was just, and so he immediately was trying to hand his phone over when the judge's little crony there walked over and snatches it out of his hand. You can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, they're trying to, I got to put this in there too, because it's one of the things that's infuriating to me. Okay, if you're a man, you don't want another man or another person coming and disrespecting you when you are trying, when not you're trying, you are absolutely doing the right thing. He was handing his phone over as he was asked to do by the black suitor there. And then he was disrespected again on top of the initial disrespect, because if you watch this, the cop doesn't like to be filmed. They don't want to be filmed because then they would have to be held accountable that if they treat we the people any other way other than with respect, that's on film. But they have body cameras and stuff, and looking right now, I don't think that this individual here had a body camera on, or maybe he did. Maybe that's where they got, I think he did have a camera. But anyway, this needs to be looked into. The black suitor there, she already had her mind made up that she was going to make Chili DeCastro pay. And I got to tell you, if you go into his next video and you look at Chili, this kind of tyranny is absolutely pathetic, because you can see Chili have his head down and stuff and looking like he's whooped. And he even started talking about, well, I got done like this in Ohio. I got done like this so and so. So maybe it is me. Maybe what's the common denominator here is actually me. Maybe I'm the one with the problem. No, it's not, Chili. It's not it's not you at all. It is, if something's wrong, it's wrong. Look at all the people that have suffered and died under the whip. Generation after generation after generation, they was born into a situation and even died in that same situation. But along comes somebody, and if I'm honest about it, I'm thinking of, let my people go.
Moses,
and that's where we're at now. Is they're trying to persecute me for being a Christian, and they're trying to stifle anybody that has anything to do with wanting the right thing to be done. So anyway, we want Brad to pick it up and look into all these things, and to grab on to all the rest of them that we can't even get to, because if I spent just a few seconds talking about all the problems that we have right now, it would just continuously go on and on and on. But we seen where Brad actually hasn't had a press conference or whatever since March 20th, I think it was. Is he getting ready to have another one, Jake, or do you know?
No, so I don't work for the press staff for the congressman, but I'll be happy to look into that for you, sir.
Okay. Well, we appreciate you very much. We're not going to hold you. But again, with the Chili DeCastro thing, the whole lot of it has to be looked into, with these invaders coming in, taking over. And is there any truth to what I'm talking about? Are we trying to put numbers together because we're worried about China? And if that's actually the case, who allowed us to have such a weak military? Biden, he gave away $85 billion worth of equipment and stuff that definitely could have. And why are we fighting other people's battles for them and paying for them to have walls in Israel and stuff? Have you seen the wall that Israel has?
Yes, sir.
It's plumb fortified, isn't it? I couldn't get through that. I mean, on my best day, I couldn't get through that. You couldn't get through that with explosives it is a real wall. Look at it. But yet, tear ours down? It all doesn't make sense. So Brad's got a lot of work to do or whatever. But Jake, we're going to let you get off here. And I'm not going to ask you to read back that stuff because we know that you've got it. We know that you're on our side. We appreciate you so much. Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for your incredible, insightful input. We really appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thank you for calling in, Mr. Preston.
God bless. We'll talk to you later.
Have a good one.
All right, bye. All right, that was our buddy Jake there. And once again, great job. But, we don't want to be saying great job and then come out the loser here neither, right? They all got to be, working. And you know what? If you're one of those, it's like getting your butt hurt, because we the people are upset. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. We don't need you. I don't think that's Jake. But they do need to step this up and stuff. We're actually working on trying to figure out, who's hiring the police and stuff. We're going to actually try to maybe call the police station and just see how we're treated when we call. We're going to see what the initial contact is with them. We're going to see their demeanor and how they treat us. So, again, today, being the 2nd of April, it's supposed to be storming and stuff, especially up north here in Ohio and stuff, bad weather and everything. So we're definitely praying for all of you out there. Thanks for praying for us. We really appreciate it. So, with that, God bless America. God bless you and yours. Thank you so much for the prayers for the boss. Just had to take him to the ER yesterday on my birthday, which was okay because we got to bring him back home and everything. We're still trying to figure out, what's causing his severe pain and stuff from his double hip surgery and stuff. Thank you guys so much for your prayers out there. It means the world to me. I'm giving each one of you a shout out. Thank you so much. Appreciate you growing this channel with me. We're almost at 1,000. We're going to start doing some fun things if we still have a country here and we're still free enough to do something like that, for sure. Got something pretty big lined up for once we cross that 1,000 mark that I'm going to be putting out here. So, and I know this is a long show today, but you know, if you're like I am, it's well worth watching and it's well worth hanging in there and finding out these things. We've got food poisoning that's happening that they've been doing to us, and I'm not just talking about with the fluoride in our water. There's what's that other one called? I can't even think of the name of it right now.
Atrazine.
Atrazine. Good job, no. Look at you. Anyway, atrazine. That's something that you guys got to check into. Go watch my short that I made on atrazine, and you know, just pause it there and read the writing and stuff, and it'll bring you up to speed pretty quickly. Or look it up on YouBoo Bear or something. But we so appreciate all of you leaving the comments and the likes and stuff. Man, even if you're not in this country, we appreciate you so much. Thanks for your comments and stuff, you know. Man, we're praying for everybody because we're all in this together, you know. If we don't get this right, the rest of the world really, really is screwed up. But, you know, we're learning a lot from Europe and stuff like that. Their farmers and stuff are standing up for the world and, you know, fighting for our food and stuff. We're still praying for Amos Miller over in Pennsylvania or Indiana. Indiana, I believe. Nope, Pennsylvania. It's Miller's farm. They shut him down, not allowing him to sell fresh milk and stuff like that. You can look into Amos Miller to find out more about that and stuff. But hey, listen, God bless America. God bless you and yours. We're praying for you. Thank you so much for praying for us. Thank you for your incredible support. We love you, Lord. We love you, boss. Peace out.